Okay, so I've decided to make a tutorial video on this new puzzle game that I've recently acquired through Amazon. It's called Color Cube Sudoku, and I personally love it. It's really great. Someone who really enjoys solving twisty puzzles, such as the Rubik's Cube and such, and also enjoys solving Sudoku. This combines both of those puzzle solving elements, and it's something I really enjoy. So the goal of this game is to place all 9 cubes into this tray in a way where each color will only appear once per row and once per column. It's kind of like a Sudoku concept, except in Sudoku you have numbers, here you have colors. And it's actually quite simple to solve this puzzle once you get the hang of it and you understand the strategy. At first it might be quite confusing, especially if you're not regular to solving puzzles. For me personally, I've been solving puzzles for a number of years, and so the first attempt to solve this puzzle took me about 15 minutes or so, and once I've gotten the hang of it, usually I solve it in under 5 minutes now. So basically, the first step is simple. You choose any cube, doesn't matter which one, and you place it in any of its orientations, whichever you choose, in the middle of the tray, as such. And the second step is you have to decide what's going to be the second cube. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to build a line. You could either build it horizontally or vertically. Doesn't matter. I personally usually build it horizontally out of habit. And so the first thing I look for is I choose any 2 colors on this cube. And I'm going to have to look for another cube within the remaining cubes that does not have either one of these 2 colors. Now you're going to have situations where you have 3 similar colors, or I don't remember, possibly 1 or so. Basically, you have to find a situation where those 2 colors that you choose are not going to be found on any other cube. So for instance, I'm going to look at green and yellow. Focusing on these 2 colors, I'm going to try to find the cube that has neither green nor yellow. Now if I look at this one here, it has green. This one has green and yellow. This one has green and yellow as well. This one has neither green nor yellow. So by default, I know that the rest of the cubes have either green or yellow. This one has green, this one has yellow, this one has both of them, and this one has yellow. So I take this cube and I place it in a way, in my case I'm building the line horizontally. So I place it in a way where the 2 common colors in these cubes, which in this case is red and orange, as you could see, so that they do not intersect. So if I place it here, as such, you see that the red and orange here is on the lower row, and here they're on the upper row, so they do not intersect as far as rows go. And the other 4 colors, they're all different colors, so at this stage it doesn't matter. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is I look at the 2 common colors of these 2 cubes, and as we've just mentioned, the red and orange are the common colors, and I look for a cube within the remaining cubes that has neither red nor orange. Once again, starting with this one, I look at it as red, this one has orange, and this one has neither red nor orange. So I'm going to need this cube. And once again, by default, I know that all of these remaining cubes have either red or orange, or both of them. So taking this cube, I now have to place it in a way where the common colors of this cube to these, as relevant to these 2 cubes, do not intersect in any way. So for instance, if I place it like this, it's no good. You see, because the white is in the same row as the white, and the yellow is in the same row as in the yellow, even though the blue is in opposite is not the same row as this blue, and this green is not the same, but because these yellow and white intersect with the other yellow and white, this orientation is now good. So for instance, if I take it and I reorient it, say like this, and now you see that it's good because the blue and blue are not in the same rows, yellow and yellow, white and white, green and green. So now we've built our first row, and this was step number 3. So step number 4, once again you select any random cube, it doesn't matter which one. And for instance, I'm going to take this one over here, and we have to find one of the existing 3 cubes in the tray that matches only 2 colors to this cube. It cannot be 3, it has to be only 2. So for instance, you see this has orange, and this has orange. This has red and red, blue and blue. So it has 3 matching colors, so this is no good. So I know that this cube is not going to go here, and it's not going to go here, because it has 3 matching colors, whereas it must have only 2. Now comparing it to this middle cube, see orange and orange, red and red, green and green. So once again, we have three identical colors between these three common colors, and thus I know this cube is not going to go here, and it's not going to go here. So it has to go by default either on top or bottom here. Now, it doesn't matter where you put it on top or bottom at this stage. You can put it wherever you wish. But just you see now that this has a green, and this has a green, blue and blue, and the other colors are different. So it's only two colors that are common between these two cubes. And once again, you place it in a way where the green and blue, which are the common colors, do not intersect. So for instance, I could place it like this. See, green and green are in different columns, blue and blue are in different columns, and the other colors at this stage don't matter because they're all different colors. Proceeding with the next step, you could either continue randomly choosing cubes and placing them, figuring out where to place them this way, or to make it a little easier, you could simply look at the common colors here, which is blue and green, and you look for a cube in the remaining cubes that has neither blue nor green. So you see here it has blue and green. This one also has blue and green. This one has neither blue nor green. So the remaining two, I know that they have both blue and green. So this one, I know is going to go here on the bottom. So basically this one on the bottom cannot have the two colors that are common to these two cubes. In this case, you see green and green and blue. So I know that this third cube must not have these two colors, and that's why I chose this cube. And now I have to place it in a way which is it doesn't intersect, the colors don't intersect. And this is obviously no good, you see, because orange and orange are in the same column, yellow and yellow, red and red, and white and white. So this orientation is no good. Let's try it this way. This way you see it's good, because you see white and white are in separate columns, red and red are in separate columns, orange and orange, yellow and yellow. And as such we proceed. Now we choose once again any random cube, it does not matter which one. And I'm going to take this one for instance. And once again I look for another cube that has only two common colors. And I start off with the center horizontal line. And comparing it to this one, I see red and red, white and white. And the other two colors are different. So I know this one is going to go either here or here. Now to figure out if it's going to go on the top or on the bottom, I now have to compare the colors to these two cubes and see which have only two common colors. So looking at this one over here, red and red, white and white, yellow and yellow. So that's three common colors, and because they have three common colors, I know it cannot go here, and by default it has to go there. And once again, now once I place it here, all I have to figure out is the orientation. So looking for instance at first at I look at two colors that are common to these two cubes. Two colors that are common to this cube, and one of these two colors that are common to this cube are going to be on this cube. So in this case you see red and orange are common to these two cubes, and out of this red and orange you only have red on this one that I'm holding. And so I see that this red cancels out the entire column on the left side, and this red over here cancels out the entire bottom row. So by default the red cubie on this cube has to be on the top right as such. However, if you notice, otherwise the orientation aside from that red, it's no good. Because white and white is on the same column, even though the other colors are properly placed. So I know green can't go on top because the green is over there, so I have to swap the white and the yellow. And basically you're gonna have to turn, flip the cube around and orient it, and the more you do it, the more you get used to it. And so I know what I need to look for right now is it has to be yellow, red, green, white. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for. Yellow, red, green, white. Place it like this. I check it. Red is in its proper place. White no longer intersects. Yellow doesn't matter at this stage because there's no yellow in these two cubes. And green is in its proper place as well. Even though it could technically go here, but it has to go here in order to allow for the white to be here. Next, once again, you could proceed with randomly choosing any cube and doing the color deductions to figure out where it goes, or to make things easier, you could do it simply look at the two common colors of these two cubes or of these two cubes. I'm going to look at these two for instance, and I see red and white are the two common colors. So I look for another cube that has neither red nor white. This one has both. This one has neither. And this one has white. So this one I know has to go here on the bottom. And as such, once again, I do the same procedure. I see that this yellow on the bottom cancels out this bottom row, and this yellow in this left side column cancels out the left side column. And therefore, by default, this yellow QB on this cube has to go here on the top right. Now I check the other colors, and I see blue is no good. It's in the same column. Green is also no good for the same reason, and orange. So none of the other three are positioned properly. So now I figure it out. So what am I going to do? And in this case, let's see. Yellow, so yellow is in its proper place. Blue has to be, I'm going to put blue on top like this, let's say. And I think this should do it. You see yellow is in a separate column. Green is now also in a separate column. The rows at this stage for green don't matter. Orange in a separate row from this orange. And as far as and also in a separate column as far as this orange goes, blue is in a separate column. Okay, so now we're down to the last two cubes, and at this point you pick any one of the two, and what you do is you see, for instance, you look at the common colors of these two cubes, and you see this one and this one have orange and yellow in common. These are their two common colors, and therefore we know that this cube here cannot have orange or yellow. And this has orange and yellow, so by default I know that it's going to go on top. And by placing it on top, all I have to do is figure out the orientation in order that none of the colors intersect. So for instance, I'm going to start with the color yellow. And I see yellow, this yellow cancels out the top row, this yellow cancels out the right side column, and therefore by default I know this yellow, this cube has to be placed in a way where this yellow is going to be on the bottom left. However, if you look at the other colors, you see that orange and blue are no good because this orange intersects with this orange and this blue with this blue. White is good. So what I have to do is basically, I'm going to have to swap a few things. Let's just take a look. So I'm going to have to swap. This orange is going to have to go over there. And this blue is going to have to be on the bottom. And this white is going to be here. So it's going to be white, orange, yellow, blue. That's what I have to go for. No, my mistake. Orange, white, yellow, blue. That's what I have to go for. Orange, white, yellow, blue. And I just keep turning it around. Orange, white, yellow, blue. And what am I doing? Mix that. Orange, white, yellow, blue. Okay, orange is now good as far as this orange. They're in separate columns. Blue is in a separate row from this blue. Yellow is good, as relevant to this yellow here and to this yellow. White is also good. Now we're down to the last cube, and we know where it goes. So it's all about the proper placement as far as the orientation goes. And let's look at blue. We see this blue cancels out the top row, and this blue cancels out the right side column. So by default, we know this blue has to be on the bottom left. Now we look at the other colors. Green cancels out the bottom, and this green cancels out the left side. So the green is going to have to go on top. So we know that it's going to have to be like this. We see blue, green. Now checking the other two colors. Red. Let's see, red cannot be here because of this red, and it also cannot be here. So we have a situation where we have to swap certain colors on one of the other cubes in order to allow proper placement, because otherwise it's impossible to place this cube. And so in this case, I briefly look around, which colors can I swap without affecting anything, and I see that if I swap the yellow and red on this one, like place the red on top and white on the bottom, it's not going to affect any other aspect of the puzzle. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this one out, and I'm going to keep the orange and yellow oriented as is, but I'm going to swap the red and white. So it's going to be red, orange, white, yellow. Red, orange, white, yellow. Now I should be able to place this cube. And once again, starting with the blue, as we determined before, blue has to go on the bottom left, green has to go on the right side top, red, and white, and you see it's all good. Reds are in separate rows and in separate columns, and green likewise, blue as well, and white as well, and we've solved the puzzle. And as a final stage, we just double check ourselves, and basically you simply visualize it in your mind, color by color. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And you see red, 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 white, blue, orange, yellow, green. They're all in separate columns. Now we double check the rows as well, because you may have a situation where the columns are good but the rows are not good, or vice versa, where the rows are good and the columns are not good. So we start off as well on top. Red, yellow, white, orange, blue, green. And we see it's all good. You don't actually have to touch it each time you check it. I'm just doing it for the sake of the video, but you do it in your mind basically. And the more you do it, the more you'll be able to visualize it fairly quickly, to double check yourself. And yeah, so that's how you solve this puzzle. It's a lot of fun. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, and you should be able to solve it probably under 5 minutes as well. Nevertheless, it's still a lot of fun. It still requires some thinking as far as where to place the cubes, as far as how to properly orient them. So it's a good mental challenge. Excellent puzzle, and also quality. The quality of this puzzle is great, and the packaging and everything, and I definitely recommend it to anyone and everyone. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.